The current generation of the Honda Ridgeline is adored by those of us who love the practicality of a truck, but also want a fun, engaging, and comfortable daily driver. However, as of this May, it has been in production for 8 whole years, and to say that it is starting to show its wrinkles would be an understatement. Honda knows this all too well, which is why you should expect an all-new generation to hit the market for the next model year. So without further ado, let's check out the 5 reasons why you should wait for the 2025 Honda Ridgeline. Number 5. A complete exterior redesign. The Honda Ridgeline's design has never been its selling point. Sure, it's not a bad-looking car, however, its slanted short nose, ungainly grille, and headlight design, coupled with a bland side profile and back, made it a bore to look at more than anything. Thankfully, we'll be waving goodbye to the yawn-inducing exterior, as the Honda Ridgeline will now come with a much more modern and sleek design. Starting from the front of the vehicle, the Honda Ridgeline will now boast a more imposing front fascia, thanks to the fact that it'll borrow most of its elements from the new Honda Pilot. This means that you can expect chunky yet sleek headlights that'll be seamlessly incorporated with the upper part of the grille, making the car look both more aggressive and more elegant. This is amplified by the fact that the short and downwards angled hood will now be replaced by completely flat and noticeably longer hood design, allowing the car to appear more athletic and much more streamlined, especially from the sides. Speaking of the sides, you could also expect a less crowded ordeal here too, as the side profile will now have less creasing, fewer complications, and will overall have a more, dare we say, minimalist approach, allowing the car yet again to feel much more youthful than the current generation. Finally, the backside of the truck is expected to utilize slimmer taillights as well as a less hassle tailgate design to make this part of the truck go much more with the flow. Number 4. A new cutting-edge interior. As old as it was on the outside, the inside of the Honda Ridgeline tended to show even more how ancient the pickup truck is. Seriously, look at that steering wheel design. It looks like something from the mid-2000s. And let's not forget about the infotainment screen and climate controls, both of which look dated and are also very much a hassle to use. Well, not anymore. You see, because the 2025 Honda Ridgeline will share its platform with the Honda Pilot, it'll also share most of its interior with it too. This means that the dashboard design will now look much more aesthetically pleasing as well as practical than it is now. Starting with the infotainment screen, which will now be a larger and more responsive unit that will be positioned atop the dash, allowing for it to be much easier to read and use while driving, as it'll be in your line of sight. Furthermore, the climate controls have been switched out. Now, instead of a million different buttons, you'll be getting elegant tactile dials that'll allow for both faster and more intuitive usage of climate controls. This is because you'll have to worry about only 3 different controllers instead of 100, which was the case with the outgoing generation. Oh, and let's not forget about the quality. You see, with the upcoming generation, there will be a massive improvement in the quality department, as the pickup truck will now have much more soft and rubberized plastics, as well as a general usage of metal throughout the car. Seats are also expected to be better profiled and noticeably more comfortable than the current ones, which is a great thing to say considering that the ones found in the outgoing Ridgeline are very comfortable in themselves. Finally, the digital driver's display will be more informative, larger, and much easier to use, which all in all makes the interior of the upcoming Ridgeline a welcome improvement over the last gen. We'd even go that far and say that it'll certainly be at the top of its class. Number 3. A palette of new engines. The outgoing Honda Ridgeline had a very limited choice of engines, to say the least. Scrap that, it did not offer any choice, as the only engine you could have opted for was the 3.5-liter V6. This is a very solid engine, as it is both smooth and relatively powerful. However, it simply wasn't powerful enough, nor was it economical enough to be the only engine choice for the pickup truck. Thankfully, the 2025 model year will introduce a set of new power plants for the Ridgeline nameplate. First of all, the 3.5-liter V6 will be back, albeit in a different configuration. The engine will now push out 5 more horsepower, as well as focus on improving fuel economy through the utilization of more modern technical solutions. However, the biggest change for this power plant will undoubtedly be the fact that it'll now come with a 10-speed gearbox. This will, for one, allow it to become much more economical while also allowing the truck to utilize its maximum potency, especially when it comes down to the torque. Yes, the torque figures won't really change, however, they will be more useful now due to an extra gear, allowing the truck to remain in the sweet spot for longer. Furthermore, there has also been mention of a smaller and more affordable 4-cylinder engine. This engine is expected to be the 2-liter i4, which can be found in the Honda CR-V, which will push out around 180 horsepower. It isn't much, but it'll be more than enough for regular day-to-day commuter-type exploitation. However, this engine will, in our opinion, be an introduction of the Ridgeline into the world of hybrids, as the same engine is used on the CR-V hybrid and it pushes out more than 200 horsepower and 245 pound-feet of torque. There's a possibility that the Ridgeline's output will be increased, mostly because the added potency of the electric engines will surely help the Ridgeline. Number 2. Improved capability and performance. Despite having more or less equal amounts of power, the upcoming Honda Ridgeline will be a massive step up from the previous generation when it boils down to sheer capability and drivability. First of all, due to the introduction of a 10-speed auto gearbox, the truck is now expected to have a little bit bigger payload capacity, which will only be further increased by the fact that the Ridgeline will also be slightly lighter than the outgoing generation. With proper equipment, the upcoming Honda Ridgeline will be able to pull over 6,000 pounds. This is over 1,000 pounds more than what the current generation tops out at, which is quite a welcome improvement. Sure, it's nowhere near a Ford Ranger, Tacoma, or any of those vehicles. However, for regular usage, it'll be more than enough. Oh, and the 3.5-liter V6 will now have better gas mileage, which was a huge complaint for the outgoing model. 24 mpg is pretty low for a pickup truck of this caliber, as thanks to its concept and mechanics, it should be lower. Thankfully, the new engine will be noticeably more economical, as it'll be able to do 26 to 27 mpg, which, while not revolutionary, is still pretty good. Not by much, but it's better than nothing. This loss of excess weight will also do wonders for the performance, as the Ridgeline will now be both quicker from 0 to 60, as well as feel more control in the bends. Finally, the hybrid is expected to have quite a bit of low-end torque, and with its daily usable character, it is expected to be the go-to powertrain for the upcoming Ridgeline. Sure, it won't be as torquey or as powerful as the V6, however, it'll achieve over 30 mpg city and highway, which is better fuel economy-wise than the current V6. Number 1. An even more comfortable ride. The Honda Ridgeline was always a decently comfortable and interesting to drive pickup truck. This is because, unlike most other pickup trucks that sit on a ladder chassis, the Honda Ridgeline uses a unibody chassis. This essentially allows the truck to be considerably more structurally rigid, which in turn allows the suspension of the truck to be softened up a bit to work better on uneven roads and roads full of potholes. As a result, the truck will dampen these bumps with much more ease, as well as tackle windy roads without any problem either. You shouldn't expect a Rolls-Royce, however, it is certainly better than leaf springs that are found in most of its competitors. Furthermore, because it will be more engaging to drive, you will find quite a bit more enjoyment with the upcoming Ridgeline, especially around the bends. This, combined with the fact that the pickup truck will be getting new infotainment, new interior, new exterior, new seats, new transmission, an updated engine, and possibly a hybrid powertrain, makes us very hyped for the 2025 Honda Ridgeline. And that brings us to the end of today's video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.